Hey guys, it's Smiles Behind Lupus and
Hi.
the hubby. We are on our way out of town, but we're gonna make sure we get this video done because we missed last week, and I apologize. I have not felt the best with my lupus, so let's go ahead and get started. Tonight's two topics, continuing part 3 of the marriage series. Topic number 1 is emotional infidelity. What do you have?
Emotional infidelity. I guess maybe y'all will just see my forehead while I drive, but I'm going to try to keep it at a good thing going here. What I believe is that in relationships, especially if you've been through a lot of turmoil, coming up through relationships, when I mean that if you're young, been dumped and trying this person, and you finally get someone that you've been praying for a while, believing God for, you've been really putting everything into it, male or female, and it comes, I think a lot of times we don't have the understanding that our emotions play such a vast part of growth in our relationships. And I think you truly got to believe in yourself first. If you believe in yourself, it'll help in the areas of your emotions. And you also have to learn, and like I said, learn how to control your emotions. I tell my wife a lot of times, I choose to do a certain thing, and I believe life is a choice. We choose certain things. When we get up every day, I'm going to choose to do this, I got to go do that. I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. And emotional infidelity, it's tough. It's not something that you can just wake up one day that I believe and say, I got a handle on this. It's an everyday situation that has to be learned, that has to be dealt with, and it has to come from your heart to understand that, number one, it is emotions. And when it comes to women, wow, I had to learn that they are very emotional beings. That's what women are. Women were created that way by God. They're very strong. They're very confident. They're very smart. So a lot of times we think we got it together as men. Well, but when it comes to emotional infidelity, when she first told me that, first thing came to my mind was being able to believe first in yourself.
That's all good, but emotional infidelity in this area is about when the spouse is not giving you what you need at home and they choose to go elsewhere to find it. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to give him this back for that response.
That's tough. That is very, very tough, because I believe, again, I'm always talking about what I believe. Well, I do believe. I believe that crystal clear communication with each other will help when it comes to stepping outside the marriage. And I really, truly believe, I don't care how it sounds, if you're with somebody and you can't truly express yourself, then eventually, it may not work. I mean, if you can't truly tell your mate what you desire, how you feel, what that does for you, how it affects you, then that's a tough situation, because you're going to find somebody you can talk to, be it a male or female friend, regardless. You're going to have somebody that you can really express all that inner things to that you have inside of you. And if it's not your mate, yes, there will be some emotional infidelity. And that's what, especially with women, I've learned, over again, I guess you can say, that women love to talk. Sometimes, to me, it don't be about nothing, but hey, they just love to talk. So let them talk, man. Let them talk. I let my wife talk. And I got to learn when to talk and when not to talk, because sometimes I give her an answer and she don't be looking for an answer. And sometimes I'm supposed to give an answer and I don't give an answer. So, again, that's me learning every day, So, wow, emotional infidelity. That was, ooh.
I'm having to cut him off. So, You know, there's the old saying where women, from the woman's perspective, that they're okay if their husband just cheats sexually or their part sexually versus them being emotionally cheating. And I don't give a crap if it's emotional or you having sex. It's a no, period. But I like he piggyback off of what he said, because I feel like if your mate is telling you, you know, every day you're beautiful, or, you know, I'm telling him you're handsome, I love you, when you hear it from somewhere else, is not going to matter. And I think he spoke of that earlier when we first started the marriage series, because I can speak personally. When I was younger, you know, being 19, getting married for the first time, when you don't hear stuff, and I knew my dad loved me, he was always in the house, him and my mom, you know, I didn't grow up in a broken home or anything like that, but my dad didn't say, you know, I was beautiful, or I didn't really hear I love you. Like, he would, when he would preach, he would say he loved us and loved my mom, but they weren't affectionate. So I didn't know how to be that way towards, you know, when I got married the first time to my son's father. So that means when things weren't going right and then someone else is in your ear and you be like, oh, well, he's saying that I'm beautiful, and then you go do stupid stuff. So when you get older, you're wiser. So, all right, guys, number 2 is fighting about money. I have 2 scriptures that coincide with marriage and money, and then we'll chime in. Luke 14:28 is the ESV version. For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? Actually, I'm not even going to do the second scripture. If you want to read it, it's Proverbs 13:22, about a good man leaves inheritance to his children's children. But back in hand, like, so many people get into marriage without, number one, doing premarital counseling and really sitting down to know, you know, love is all fine and dandy, but you need to know what you're getting into with the person. Not to say, because let's say they got bad credit, that was going to stop you from loving them, but you need to know how to better handle that. And I remember when I was little, my parents, we lived in a trailer, and my dad, I remember that vividly. He kept saying, I'm going to have a brick house. I'm going to have a brick house. He wrote down every cost of everything and how much it was going to cost to get that brick house built. And my mom, you know, even though she was a faith-believing woman and a minister, she was just like, well, how are we going to do that? Because, you know, my mom was sickly and she couldn't work and she was on a fixed income. So she's like, well, where are we going to get this money from? But he had already prayed about it. He had already put his vision on paper, and God blessed him with that house. Even though people around him was like, there's no way, you know, you're going to get a brick house. You know, he worked for the naval base as in the civilian realm, but he only had a 7th grade education. So he has his siblings that they were just like, oh, you're crazy. That's not going to happen for you. So I feel a lot of marriages do end in divorce because of money. Because I feel like, well, for the love of money is the root of all evil. But I feel like a lot of people go in and they're living above their means to, you know, impress the next person. Let's see what he has to say.
I agree with that. Money, I mean, if you're a young person and you going through the internet and you come across us about this money situation, I want to encourage you, for whoever you're getting involved with, know what you're dealing with financially. Know who you're dealing with financially. Know their mindset. Know what you're taking on, what they're bringing in. You know, those are things, because that can be a life-changing situation. It can be life enduring. You know, so know what you're dealing with. When I say that, I mean know about their credit scores. If they know about their own credit score, know their past as far as their spending habits. Ask them about their future when it comes to investments. Ask them, do they have an investment? So that is very important. I would say you got to take the time and be honest. Be honest, because if you are not honest about your finances and talking to someone, they probably won't be honest to you either. You know, take the time. Finances are very important because you're going to be making some very big and major decisions financially for you guys' future. So your basic foundation is to be built towards trust, especially when it comes to finances. You know, see how they feel about family and finances and loaning money. It's just so many things, because once you get married, it's easy though. It's very, very easy to just walk out. But for those that endure and fight to the end and stick with it, these are things that'll help you in the midst of your relationship. I guess you could say one less headache you got to deal with.
Yep. So I totally agree, and be honest and be transparent. I feel that both mates should be involved in doing the bills and doing the budget every month, because that way I've seen so many people, when one spouse, if they pass away or if they get really ill, they are clueless on what bills are supposed to be paid, who it goes to. They don't know how to write out a check. I mean, it's real. And that's something I feel like every couple should do. And one thing that I didn't do in my past marriage is, like, you know, when people, like you said, loaning money, that's something that you and your husband need to sit down and pray about together. You don't just say, oh, I got you. No, I have to talk to my husband, or I have to talk to my wife to make sure that we're able to do that, and that's in our budget, because I'm not going to put myself or my family, you know, lacking to loan somebody else something if it's not agreed upon and God isn't speaking to both of us about it. So, hope you guys enjoyed these next 2 tips, and we will be back next Friday with the next 2 tips. And until the next time, guys, be blessed. We love you. Say goodbye.
Peace.